Hey guys, I guess I'll wing another one here. Sploosh. Yep, we got another sploosh. There was one yesterday too. Seems like they're coming like clockwork now. Last 3, 4 days, right around the same time, same station, Batman. Got the huge sploosh action. These are Earth radii 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Each Earth radii is approximately 4,000 miles. Normally the bow shock's out about a 10 spot on the Earth radii. Actually at 3,959 miles, so 4,000, pretty close. Here's the velocity. Here comes another sploosh. So as you can see, it's pushing the Earth radii well past 20, the bow shock, secondary bow shock. Then we got some waves of velocity coming in because the solar wind's actually increasing. There's the density. There it is there. Sploosh. This is the density I'm most concerned about, this backside density. Now these are all, this is a geospace model put out by the University of Michigan. I get running the same data sets that we get on ISWA with the RCM modeling for the inner magnetosphere. And it's just represented in a different fashion. So that's the density. Let's watch that sploosh one more time. So like I said, last 3, 4 days, there was one yesterday. I didn't bother making a vid because there wasn't anything else to really talk about. But it's coming from the backside, pushing everything out this way. It's coming like clockwork right around 10:20 UTC or thereabouts. So I can't explain that unless it's some kind of a solar flare that's coming around from Nemesis, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I can't really speculate on that one. Here it is on the pressure. You can see the pressure's coming way up, front and back side. Here comes the sploosh again. It's going to flip over. There it is. Well, look at that. And there's nothing. When that happens, everything gets equalized, apparently. But then quickly we get some more pressure building back in, primarily on the back side. One thing I did notice, this angle isn't as pronounced as it used to be. It seems like Earth's magnetopause is turning more toward front-facing position to now would indicate also to me that things are getting closer. Now, this is Discover. I had it pulled up this morning. There's the 3 days. And look, it was reading the Discover data this morning when I had it pulled up. And like I showed you before, sometimes they flip it over to the ACE data. And so they're running the same data, or they're representing the same data on both satellite reporting stations. Because this was double the solar wind density I'm looking at here. This was double on Discover. And then all of a sudden they flipped it back to the ACE representation. So you can see, yeah, we got big gaps. So that right away, well, here it is. Now we got it back again. I flipped it back to the 1 day on Discover. And now we're getting Discover data displayed again. So I don't know, for some reason they had a little glitch there, and Discover was displaying the ACE data. So there it is there, maybe not quite double, but 22.49. And then we had it drop off around 12:03 UTC, so that's around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dropped from 23.15 down to 9:22, and the solar wind speed came up at that time from 372 and jumped up to 428. So we got a little density bump coming our way, heading toward Earth. Should maybe have been here by now. So I don't know, possible some more transformer failures. Look up here, you can see the IMF, the blue, that's all out of whack. And it might even correspond to the sploosh. It's around the same time, 10:20, 10:36. But I don't know, I looked at some prior days and I didn't see the same anomaly on the IMF, the blue. And look up here, you can tell how unsteady things are. This red one, the BZ, that actually is also a representation of the interplanetary magnetic field coming from the sun. So you can see that's getting all whacked out. On Enlil, I got it stopped on today about this time. So they got the Earth radial velocity up around 500, which it hasn't quite gotten there yet. And they have the solar wind density drop, and they had it peaking around midnight UTC. Around 12 or 13 when we, like showed you, we got up to 23 something, so it got up quite a bit higher. So there we still have that connection going on. I believe that the voltage pressure from Nemesis is still strongest in the connection, so it's pushing everything back this way a little bit. But the sun seems like it's gaining a little momentum as the solar wind speed's coming up. And so we'll see what happens. Here's where the Ace and the Discoverer are out at the L1 Lagrange point, 930,000 miles in front of the planet. We got those big planet or planets. And here you got to read my hypothesis number 1 and my hypothesis number 2. That explains the Nemesis solar wind speed we've been getting. And that's really been clumbing like clockwork every day since about the 5th. I think one day we didn't have an event where it only went over 1,000 one time, 1,000 kilometers per second. These numbers are all being measured inside our magnetopods. They're coming from Nemesis, from behind. You see all the pressure coming in. Watch these Fock radiation belts. This is what I'm most concerned about. It's this false bow shock in the back. How it's getting broken up more and more, I think. And it's getting pushed in toward the planet. So this, I mean, we have the solar wind density coming from the front knocking transformers out. What happens when this solar wind density that's showing up here on geospace starts coming through, especially during a Nemesis high-speed solar wind event? This represents density. You can see there's quite a bit of it around the planet from the backside, and a lot of backside pressure. So here's the event. It lasted about an hour, 23 past midnight, 1100, 990, 1393. And I hope you click this bottom right box so you can see this stuff better. 1247. So it not only lasted till about 131 or 127, about an hour. 1457 was the high number in this one. This has been going on since the 5th at least, I think. Last time I checked my video lineup, I think that's what it was showing. So let's get this thing synced back up. Pull it back over. Alright, so these three are all synced and running together. You can see the solar Nemesis high speed event's going to be coming up. There it is there. Pretty violent stuff. We still have all these blue IMF field lines stacking up in front of the planet. We get Nemesis coming in from the back trying to grab us. Magnetosphere is looking pretty weak to me. And I mean, just that sploosh is another indication of how, I don't know, how weak everything is. We're definitely stuck between two. Did you see that there? That was pretty crazy looking. So we're going to have more solar wind pressure coming from the sun. So that's being elevated. They're predicting up over close to 600 coming up tomorrow. So we'll see if it keeps climbing. I think that the volt pressure coming from Nemesis is going to maybe slow that down a bit. I don't think it's going to get up to 600 or close to 600 in my humble opinion. We'll have to wait and see. What else? Oh yeah, MLSO. Well, we'll let this run a minute. You can watch it. These blue ones, they're all interplanetary magnetic field lines. These are coming from all the planets that are sitting out in front. And this ace in the back, or this Nemesis in the back. See all those blue ones trying to come right up the middle, and then all these other ones that are snaking around. So, I mean, we got to worry about this backside stuff coming in. Look how it's being pushed. And every once in a while, you're going to see a crack. Look how it got pushed there. The whole thing got bowed out. So it almost looked exactly like this on this side. See it getting cracked, broken. And when that happens, more energy bleeds in. That's why we're seeing purple skies and green and pink skies, because that's ionized nitrogen and oxygen, where electrons are being stripped from their elements up in the upper atmosphere. Thankfully, it's not reaching the lower atmosphere. It's all shortwave energy, of short duration as well. The high gamma and high ionized radiation. This is 4 million here, which indicates the presence of another solar body. It's not normal background cosmic radiation. If you watched Astral Traveler back in the day, he would only concentrate on these low energy Fock radiation belts, and he called it the LEF object, low energy field object. But now it's been so close for at least a year that we've been getting measurements like this, and I think when it whites out, that's well above 4 million. When it gets into black and purple, I think it's well above 4 million. When it goes any higher, it just whites out. Here's the last MLSO run from yesterday. They give us like 90 frames. These are like 2-minute time lapses. Got that one there. It's really kind of showing up pronounced. Got these two here. This one up here. A couple days ago I saw a flash, and there was a big one up here as well. It's not showing itself today. And you can see they're on the move. So, I mean, I tried looking again when I wasn't making the video yesterday on what the heck these concentric circle rings might be on this MLSO. But one thing I couldn't really exactly determine what they were, but one thing I did determine was this isn't normal. I looked at some older MLSO archive footage and this stuff wasn't really there. Anyway, running out of time. God bless, peace, and I'm out.